Hello, it's me, Alicia Hashem, joining you for our weekly empowerment session. Thanks for dropping in to have a marvelous Monday with me, for everyone that's here live. And so I have some fun stuff that I want to share with you today to just help us to build more awareness in our lives and more balance and more healing and love and light as you're moving forward in the week. So we're going to kind of touch on some of these different energy points. We're going to do a little energy work to get started, a little meditation to just get you grounded and centered. We're going to do a little bit of body awareness and talk about how we can take care of our bodies a little bit better. And then we're going to just touch on this topic of mastering the art of uncomfortable conversations and how important this is in our life. So we're just going to kind of go along with the theme of communication, and we're probably going to stick with this theme of how to be better communicators. And it's a perfect time for us to dive into this topic because Mercury is retrograde. So this is a time where we can really start to review and analyze how we're communicating ourselves to the world and how we're communicating with others. So before we get into all that though, let's drop in and just balance your nervous system and just calm and let go of any attachments or anything that's weighing you down, any heaviness. So if you're able to, if you're not driving, just want to invite you to just kind of sit back, let your shoulders drop back, and just draw in a really, really deep breath into your belly. Draw in a deep breath, breathing in. Hold it for a second, and then push all the air out of your belly, out of your chest. Let's do that again. Draw in another really deep breath. And as you're breathing in, I want you to tap your heart space right here. This is your thymus gland, kind of right in between your neck and your heart. So just tap this area and draw in a really deep breath. Hold it, and then exhale. Good. Let's draw in another really couple deep breaths into the belly, filling your lungs. Breathe in through your feet. Breathe in the energy of the earth all the way up your legs. Exhale. Let the air move through your chest and your heart. Now draw in another really deep breath and just breathe in through the top of your head. Let your breath move down your neck. Just hold it into this heart space. Really let your breath expand your chest and circulate your heart's energy. And as you exhale, just go, and just let go and release yourself, relax into this space. And so we're going to do a visualization together today. We're going to do a little bit of energy clearing, a little energetic housekeeping for your body. So if you can, just continue to kind of stay in this relaxed state, and I just want you to follow the sound of my voice and my words, and I'm going to guide us to really visualize that our body is a magnet. We have this electromagnetic field, and there's these different energy points in our body that are really strong magnetic places to balance. And so we're going to do a little visualization, and we're going to visualize that we're placing crystals inside each of your key magnetic points on your body, okay? So this is going to be an exercise that you can do anytime once we implant these. We actually did this a couple weeks ago, so this is going to be a review. And it's just a mental visualization, but it's going to just help you at any point when you need to strengthen your energy field or clear away any negative emotions or anxieties or things that are coming to the surface. This has been a powerful aspect of my practice lately, so I'm excited to share it with you. So our etheric energy body is chemical, it's electrical, it's magnetic, it's emotional. So just visualize, just like a crystal, just visualize that there's a big pile, a big circle of beautiful crystals in front of you right now. And we're going to place them into your body on key spots. So first I want you to visualize that there is an emerald green crystal, and put one emerald crystal into the palm of each hand. So you can visualize it any shape, like a triangle or a circle, and just visualize that these green emerald crystals are in your hands. And these crystals will function the healing magnetic energy of your hands, or the laying on of hands. So you can always just put those onto any trouble spots on your body and just let your electromagnetic energy of your hands to replenish you like a battery. So now I want you to visualize that there's two crystals that are pale rose in color. And you're going to visualize that these crystals are in the center of each foot, implanted into your feet. And the termination of the crystal is going to point upwards towards your hips. And so this is kind of like your anchor in your whole circuitry, your feet on the ground. So just visualize that you're holding these rose-colored crystals in the center of each foot. They're pointing up towards your hips, and just allowing you to draw in more energy from the earth into your body than ever before. So just breathe into this. Breathe in through your hands and your feet. And draw this earth's energy up into your spine. So now I want you to visualize that there is a crystal that's amber colored. And you're going to place it into your navel. And just visualize that this crystal has a termination. And when I say termination, it's like the point of the crystal. So just visualize that that termination is pointing outside of your body, implanted in the navel. And so this is just going to help your body to expel any negative energy and just release it out of the abdomen, kind of burn it away. Just hold that there in that lower part of your torso. And just breathe into that. Breathe into your belly. Notice how it expands. Just allow that healing energy of the earth to really sit into your pelvic bowl. And so now I want you to visualize that there is a blue colored crystal, and just place that blue crystal into your throat. And just see these crystals light up your body. So this is going to amplify all the healing energies of speaking your truth, facing your truth, having the strength to listen to others and to communicate. So just hold that blue light crystal in your throat. And now I want you to visualize that you have three kind of pyramid-shaped clear crystals. And there's one in each eye, and then one for your third eye. So just let these pyramid crystals anchor into these spiritual centers. And these will help you to see the truth, to see the vision of the life that you want to create, to help you connect to universal truth. Just hold these crystals right there in your eyes to clear your vision, to clear your inner sight. And now I want you to visualize that there's a purple crystal and place that at the crown, at the very top of your head, with the top of it pointing up out of your head. And so this purple crown chakra crystal is going to help with channeling energy, communicating with the divine, communicating with your spiritual guidance. Just allow this crown chakra area to just light up here so that it can send the communication to the rest of your body. And finally, and last but not least, I want you to envision that there's a spherical crystal, like a crystal ball that's clear colored. And I want you to place that crystal ball in your heart. And this is the final implantation of the basic circuitry of your whole body. From head to toe, we just moved through everything. And so this heart chakra crystal reflects every color that's within you. So just do yourself a little favor and just visualize that this sphere in your heart chakra is spinning. Just rotate the energy here. Just visualize that this light is kind of moving through this area. And just feel how your heart is connected to all these other areas of your body, your legs, your torso, your head, your throat, this central point here. And just keep spinning that sphere in your heart and just let it clear your energy. Just let it move light through every single part of your body. You can even visualize that this light is flowing outside of your body and surrounding you like a big orb, a big circle. Just kind of wiggle a little bit, just allow yourself to relax into your body a little bit more. Just draw in some fresh, deep breaths. And just allow this light to circulate through your whole being, clearing away any darkness, clearing away any attachments, or mental chatter, or worries, or fear. Just let it all go, and you can put your hand on your heart right here, this heart center. Just make the declaration that you're going to allow more earth energy and more cosmic energy and love into your body than ever before. And really just visualize yourself as this pillar of light. And if there's any negative entity attachments or anything that's interfering with that light source in any way and with your well-being, you can just clear away some of those parasite hooks. Just let your intention just really strengthen this light, this beam of light that you are. And just know that you've implanted these crystal structures into all of the basic magnetic points in your body. So anytime that you feel the negativity popping up, the old stories, turn back to these crystals and just run this energy again and just get this pillar of light going. So thanks for walking through that. So just want to invite you to just tap your heart again. Slowly come back here in the now. And as you're really anchoring into this pillar of light, just remember that you are a pillar of light and you're showing up to be of service to other pillars of light out there. So you can even kind of visualize that out there in the world, there's these other pillars of light, these other amazing beings who need your service, who need what you have to offer. and you need them too. And so just see that, just see what you're calling in, you're attracting. And just realize that you're a magnet. So you can say, come to me, and just let all that you need come to you, come find you. So now that we've done a little bit of energetic housekeeping, hope you're feeling a little more sparkling right now. That felt really nice to do that with you, so thank you. Thanks for letting me share that with you. And so I want to guide us into some body awareness right now. I'm going to share my screen for those of you that are able to see it. And from time to time, we talk about different body systems on this call. And so today I'm going to highlight the immune system. And this is mainly just because this time of year, when the seasons are changing, this is usually the time when we experience illness or sickness. If you haven't already gotten it, then you're probably trying to ward it off. And just in general, just knowing how to take care of our immune system is everything. I believe it's like our immune system makes up about like 75% of our body. So it connects to every single organ, to all of our lymph tissues. And a lot of times when we look at boosting our immune system, one of the things that people turn to so often are essential oils. Even if they don't know what essential oils are, like a lot of people will make ginger tea or lemon, or drink hot lemon, or take different herbs. And so all of these, plants that contain essential oils are so famous for being used for the immune system. So I just wanted to give you a little heads up. I'm going to get a little science-y on you here for a second, okay? And it's because I'm really inspired by the science of plants and the body and essential oils. And years ago, I started an apprenticeship with Young Living essential oils in the days before doTERRA. And I was so inspired by like these, cancer clinics that they have in other countries where they're helping people to get back into balance and get their life back again and to heal a lot of these really scary illnesses, all with using essential oils. So it's just so amazing how we're using the technology that we have now to work with the plants, because we've always done this. So why do essential oils always help? What's going on here, and how can we become more aware? So the essential oils are going to work on 3 different levels of activity. First, we have the physical body. They're just going to work with your cellular physical form. And then they also help the body get into balance with the environment, as well as help the body get into balance with itself. So they're going to work on physical levels, emotional levels, as well as just chemical reaction levels. And so one thing that is not really talked about very often, and I want to draw your attention to this, is that our immune system, basically the majority of our immune system, is activated by the parasympathetic nervous system. So I think that's really amazing to remember. Like sometimes we just want to layer a bunch of plants on us, but in reality, if we can just balance the parasympathetic nervous system and get the body out of any kind of fight or flight or stress response, that is the most powerful way to boost your immune system. And I know that you've all experienced that thing, like when you're stressed out, you get sick, and so that's it right there. When the body's under stress, the whole immune system gets compromised. So our immune system has 2 different levels of activation. And the immune system cells are known as helper T cells. And there's 2 different kinds of helper T cells. So the T1 cells are your immune activation that has like an intercellular response. So the T1 cells are your primary immune system. These are the cells that fight cancer. They're kind of like Pac-Man, so they just like gobble up, they have little pathogens. it's kind of there just to protect us against things like dirt. And, you know, this T1 is the parasympathetic nervous system. So this is what fights the symptoms. So if you're ever like experiencing symptoms, always return back to how can I balance my sympathetic nervous system? And we'll talk more about how to do that in just a second. And so we also have the T2 helper cells, and those produce immune responses. This is our secondary immune system, and it's there to fight pathogens that can come in from the environment, like viruses or bacteria, and it does this through cellular awareness. So it's kind of like their little patrolman or police, so to speak. Vaccinations try to mimic the T2 cells activity, and this area can get really compromised by stress, sugar, antibiotics, you know, a lot of the stuff, a lot of the toxins in our environment. So whenever you take essential oils, you're basically giving this secondary immune system of yours a boost. And this is more of the sympathetic nervous system. So if there are like allergies or environmental situations that are causing, you know, issues in the body, then you're going to want to help support that T2. So with immunity, there are basically a couple protocols that you really want to keep in mind. You know, a lot of times when, you know, when it comes to oils, we'll say like, oh, take Melaleuca or take these specific oils. But really, when you're boosting your immune system, you want to bring down the histamine response, which is an inflammation that starts to happen in your body when it's under threat or under attack. So a sideways way to keep your immune system boosted is to do some of these different allergy protocols that I'm going to share with you. So my favorite is to take the Tri-Ease pills every day, and this is the trio kit. It's lavender, lemon, and peppermint. You can take it under your tongue too, but I like to put it in a capsule, and you just swallow this, and this brings all of the histamine response down in your body. It's amazing, especially if you are one of those people who's like sensitive to allergens or chemicals or food sensitivities or anything like that. This trio kit is a godsend, and it's just lemon, lavender, and peppermint. So all of those are just super supportive. Another thing to consider, because Melaleuca and lavender are very gentle oils, so you can rub a little bit of Melaleuca on your sinuses right here. And sometimes I'll just do a little dabbing right on these main points. You can also do a little lavender around the eyes. So just be careful if you have sensitive skin, but you can just rub a little lavender kind of around this eye socket with your pinky. Another good oil is Roman chamomile, and you'll just rub that on your sinuses, sometimes doing like a little massage like this just to really get it into that, you know, to start producing that histamine response. You can also rub it on your neck, like your throat or the back of your neck. And another one that is really going to protect your parasympathetic nervous system is patchouli oil. And maybe that's why the hippies used it, because they were like, they're trying to protect against like the system, you know. It's like a really popular oil, but there's something deeper in that oil that protects our nervous system. So what you do with patchouli is you can rub it right here on this top notch of your neck, and you just tap this area. And for anybody who's experiencing immune system issues, whether it's autoimmune or just in general, like cold and flu, you just want to tap this thymus area right here. And this is a gland. This is kind of like your heart chakra gland. And what it does is it produces white blood cells, and it actually gets your immune system to just start producing those helper T cells. So it really helps to just rub your oils and then just tap this area for about 10 seconds. If you're coming down with something, oh my gosh, just don't forget to do this. You can do it for the kiddos. It's such a simple technique to just get those helper T cells circulating in your system. So another way to boost your immune system is to get an aroma touch, or to incorporate the oils that are in what we call aroma touch technique. So these are 8 different essential oils, and what they're going to do is they're going to balance your entire body. It's so amazing. So first you work with balance and lavender essential oil, and these two are going to bring the sympathetic and the parasympathetic nervous system into balance. So I've been tossing around those words, sympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. That's kind of like a whole other topic that we can go into. So if you're not familiar with it, I would suggest Googling it, do a little bit of research, become more informed about your nervous system, because it's basically everything. It's how you react, how you respond. So if you can keep your nervous system in a really nice balance, pretty much everything is going to work better. All of your internal organs, your emotions. So then we have that lavender and balance for the nervous system. Then we use Melaleuca and On Guard, and those are going to activate the T1 and the T2 cells in your immune system and just give them a boost and basically just help them kind of clear out anything that shouldn't be in there. There's 2 oils that we use to stimulate the nerve pathways, and so these are, it's called, I'm going to totally butcher this word, it's like nociception, I believe is how you say it, and these are basically the nerve or the pain pathways in the body. So we rub Aroma Touch Blend and Deep Blue Blend into your system to kind of flush through those pathways, to clear out any tension and soothe damaged tissues or pain. A lot of times they block those pain receptor sites so that you're not suffering so much. So yeah, that's a huge part of healing too, is getting your body out of pain, reducing that inflammation. And so then the next set of oils that we'll bring in to give your body that boost it needs is wild orange and peppermint. And so these two kind of help. These are 2 other oils that really balance both sympathetic and parasympathetic. But what these oils do is help with proprioception. And so this is the body's skeletal and structural alignment. So it's like our body, this is kind of like a subconscious thing. Our body naturally, gravitates towards alignment, but sometimes it will also gravitate towards, poor posture or just things kind of moving out of place or getting disrupted, especially if there's been trauma. So a little bit of wild orange and peppermint is really going to help stimulate your body's own natural ability to just move into that structural alignment. Now, when we apply these oils, typically they go on the spine and the bottoms of the feet. There's actually a whole sequence that goes along with it. So you can find Aroma Touch practitioners and Aroma Touch certifications in your area. I highly recommend going. It is just such an amazing experience to either like receive it at, as like a healing thing, almost like a massage, or if you just go to an Aroma Touch training, then you can get the oils and you can learn how to do it. The thing that I love about Aroma Touch is, it's nice to receive it, but it's something you can just do on yourself as well. You can do it on your hands, you can do it on the bottoms of your feet, and really just give your body this very simple yet extremely powerful way to come back into that nervous system balance, boosting your immune system, clearing out the pain, and just really getting back into alignment. And so I'm just going to check the chat for 1 second to see if anyone has any thoughts or experiences to add about this whole topic of immune health. If you have testimonials or what's been working for you, you can just type that into the chat. So we have a question, can wild orange help us with our immunity as well as the oils help during the Mercury retrograde cycle? And I would say yes, absolutely. Like the wild orange is one of the best for boosting your immune system and just really kind of helping the body to have the energy that it needs to expel any pathogens or toxins. And if you're feeling like the Mercury retrograde is affecting you, like one thing that I would say is really Mercury, where it vibrates to is like the hands and throat. So just really work with like applying your essential oils onto the throat, area. One of the things that I've been kind of doing is rubbing a little bit here and then just pushing the oil all the way around the entire neck and just really like coating this whole area. Another thing you can do is you can rub the oil from your heart up to your throat, and this will help communicate from the heart level, boost your immune system. Really, any oils, you can't go wrong. Another thing with the Mercury retrograde is the hands. That's one of the areas that Mercury rules. So it's like rubbing your oils into your palms and doing inhalations. Really breathing deeply in there is really going to help to just kind of open up those pathways of communication and bring the balance back. And with that topic in mind, with Mercury retrograde, this brings up this area that I really want to explore with you. So as most of you know on this call, I like to share like whatever I'm working on because that's what feels comfortable for me. So this week I've really been contemplating and exploring like where in my life do I need more self-mastery? Where am I struggling? You know, like sometimes I really like to like look at those areas and sort of have a conversation with it so that I can acknowledge it and resolve it. There's a few things that have been coming to the surface, and the one that has really stood out to me this week is this whole topic of the art of having uncomfortable conversations and like how valuable and how important it is for our survival and our well-being in every single way to have and to navigate through conversations that are not easy to have, that put you outside of your comfort zone. And so I think that, as I've worked with different coaches and different people who I've hired to help me like become more successful in building my business, this topic comes up over and over and over again, and it's so emphasized. And for myself, like in my family, especially like on my mother's side, we don't have uncomfortable conversations. So I don't know if anyone here like can relate, like raise your hand right now if you experience that. Like on that side of the family, it's just like if anything is like not comfortable, forget about it. Like we don't talk about it. It's like total avoidance. And the thing is, what happens is like problems arise because we're not handling our business, right? Or maybe we try to have a conversation, but it doesn't go well. And for those of us that are on this call who you're building a business, you're selling a service, you're going to have and encounter these uncomfortable conversations. If you're building an organization, you're going to come to these points where dialogue is going to be needed and speaking your truth and being able to express that. So I'm going to put together a little journey for us to go on for the next a little bit to kind of explore this topic of having crucial conversations and what this means. And I'm going to we're going to have like a little sharing circle once I finish this, and I just want to kind of drop in with you to see like what's been coming up around this area of having crucial conversations. So why is this important? Because it's resourcing healing into your life. It's resourcing success. And having uncomfortable conversations is definitely an art. It might even be considered a superhero power. So I love this quote because it basically sums it all up, and it says, "The void that's created by failing to communicate eventually just gets filled with poison, with misrepresentation, with just a bunch of ideas that maybe aren't relevant." So when we fail to communicate properly, like it affects us in such negative ways. It basically like downplays our own intelligence. And so, how do you typically handle crucial conversations? So I just want you to just kind of take a little self-assessment right now. How do you handle it? Like when the stakes are higher, when you have to like approach somebody about something that's not comfortable, like maybe you have to draw a boundary with somebody, or maybe you need to talk about some uncomfortable behavior, or maybe something rude that someone said that hurt your feelings. How do you handle those situations? How do you handle it when you notice like, oh my gosh, like this scenario just went from regular to like the stakes are a little higher? And something's got to give, right? So what do you do? Do you avoid the conversations? Just take note here. What do you do? For me, that was huge. Avoidance, 100%. And then what happens when you avoid it? You eventually blow up, right? Like it like always comes back around. It never goes away. So do you avoid them? Another typical reaction is people face the conversation but handle it poorly. So I also fall into that category. I have a funny little story about it because I was shown it this weekend at my birthday party. There was like somebody who was kind of like being inappropriate and just like hogging my time, and I was doing in the middle, you know, just kind of came forward and blah, 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 had all this stuff to say that was a little bit rude. And I was taken off guard by it because I was doing a whole bunch of stuff. And so like, I handled it poorly. Like I said, oh, well, hey, you need to calm down or I'm going to smash this cake in your face. And I was just joking, but like they took it, they were like, oh my gosh, okay, whoa, you're so mean. And like totally like took me the wrong way, even though I thought it was like, I was cracking a funny joke. And it's so funny because my partner, Chris, he's really good. He's one of the people who faces crucial conversations and handles it well. And so he had a similar thing where he had to draw the boundary with this same person because they were talking and like spit was like flying in his face. And he just said like, hey man, you're like spitting on me. And he handled it so well. And the guy was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And like the peace was kept and everyone was able to express themselves. And that's just like a very trivial, like simple example, but it really brought to my attention just like how skilled are we at being able to like face these situations where you need to, you know, resolve something or express something and you're handling it well. And so typically why these conversations go bad, why is it so hard for us to talk about the awkward and the uncomfortable? And there's a physical reaction that's happening in the body. So when we're faced with, when the pressure is on, what starts to happen is our adrenal glands pump adrenaline. So all of a sudden adrenaline is like pumping through our body. And so once that chemical gets released, our blood will actually like stop flowing into the brain, and the blood will instead kind of divert and pump into the arms and the legs. And this is that sympathetic nervous system. So the sympathetic is like your fight or flight response. Like when you're under stress, what are you going to do? You're going to, you know, you're under threat. Are you going to hide, drop dead? Are you going to run and fight for your life? You know, so everyone reacts differently to stress. So that's another thing to consider. Like, are you more of like a fight person? Like, do you stand up and fight for yourself? Are you more of like a flight and run, like, and hide? And then there's also freezing up, like some people just freeze up. So just kind of notice like what's your typical go-to reaction. And then just know that once that gets activated in you, then all of a sudden all this blood is no longer going to your brain, it's going to your arms and your legs so that you can like fight or run, basically. And what does that mean? It means that you're not thinking clearly. So this is so common. Like we go into these crucial conversations and it's like, you're always like, you know, oh, I should have said this, or I wish I would have said that. And you probably didn't think about it because that brain or your brain wasn't getting enough blood to make a clear decision. And this is all happens in the matter of a second. As soon as you're caught by surprise or you find yourself under pressure, there's this whole physiological thing that happens. And why I'm telling you this is because it's so important for us to just remember that, you know, instead of reacting in the moment, to just go, okay, like I'm under pressure, I'm having this reaction, this is automatically going to make it so I'm not the best communicator. And this is a problem because our success is literally defined by how these conversations get handled. So our fight or flight response was there to protect us against like bears and lions and like threats, you know, like environmental disasters. But it gets activated in the same way when we're in dialogue and when we experience these crucial conversations. So to learn how to be a better communicator is going to help you kickstart your career, okay? It's going to help you improve your organization, improve your relationships, revitalize your community, and overall just improve your personal health. And this topic is very dear to me because I'm pretty sure that there's people in my family who are seriously dead because they couldn't communicate and they couldn't express these things and like speak up for themselves. And so all of that just gets bottled up inside of us. And it just makes me want to cry because, you know, if we just can like make a little effort to learn to become better communicators, it's like everybody wins, like all of our community. And so how does this happen? So we become successful communicators when we create dialogue. And dialogue is the free flow of meaning. So that means it's not one-sided, right? It's not just about you expressing your truth. It's not just about you bringing up this uncomfortable like conversation or whatever it is that you need to address. This is about creating a multiple way conversation. So what we're going to talk about and what we're going to focus on is really filling the pool of shared meaning. And so to become a better communicator, you want to find ways to make sure that everyone's ideas will find their way out into the open. And even, you know, and this creates problems for people because sometimes people have differing ideas or differing opinions. And it can make us uncomfortable, right? And it can trigger you. But you just have to remember that you return back to the heart of the intention. If you can make sure that everyone has a way to express their ideas, then this makes it so that more accurate and relevant information is available. And so everyone involved can make better choices. So when people don't feel safe to express how they're feeling, you know, if it becomes this one-sided thing, then it can create a situation where dumb shit happens because we're not hearing all the different sides of the story, right? So assumptions can be made. Sometimes we could be really harsh with our words and not give people that chance to speak their truth. So this is, I think, the most challenging point, especially if you're triggered yourself, is to create that condition in yourself as well as in others that make dialogue flow without like resistance and like people freezing up. So I want to ask you, like, what key skills do you have around talking, listening, action taking? Like, is this an area that you have a lot of experience with? How do you feel you're doing? Or is this an area that you're improving on? And I think that whenever it comes time for a crucial conversation and we have to confront the people in our lives, it's so important to really stay focused on what you want. And the reality is staying focused on having a harmonious connection with people. It's not about being right. It's not that they're wrong or you're right or whatever, you know, kind of thing going on. But it's like, no, what's wanted here is to have a successful relationship and communication and connection. So that's the heart of the intention, right? And if you can really remember that and stay focused on that intention, it makes it so much easier to create that space for other people to express their truth. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you around the topic of crucial conversations. And you know, this topic never gets old for me. Like, I'm constantly finding myself in situations where I could have handled it differently. So right now I'm going to open it up for a sharing circle for a second. And I just want everybody to kind of go around and talk about, how an area in your life that you need to have a crucial conversation. So just share, just try to make it quick because we still want to leave time for a card reading. But I would just love to kind of hear your feedback about how crucial conversation is showing up in your life. And so for me, like my crucial conversation is showing up like with a friend of mine who I love dearly, but I need to draw a boundary. And the mistake that I have kind of made is like not carving out the time to just make a phone call. Like I sent a text and that was like not the best way to communicate. And it sort of created like, a situation where it wasn't allowing that free flow of meaning to happen. So that's something that's where I'm at with it, just to get a little vulnerable and share with you, is like just really making sure that I am like literally carving time out to sit and like talk with people and not just like brush it off or just try to be like real quick, let me send this text just to do it, but to really like take the time to drop into this, like instead of being like, oh, this conversation needs to happen, but I'm doing too busy or something. That was like my whole vibe, because I had all like Thanksgiving and my birthday and all this stuff, but I didn't carve out that time, and it created so much stress. It created like a lot of tension between us. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, how can I make sure that I'm carving out time for people when a crucial conversation needs to happen, and really like making that a priority to hold that space for that to happen. So let's go around. Let's hear from each one of you really quick, a quick declaration about where a crucial conversation, where you need to clean up your practices. How is it showing up for you? Is it like family, friends? Like, where do you need to have crucial conversations?
Hey Alicia, I don't mind if I start, but for me, right now it's really good because what you just said is kind of makes sense. Like for me, like a few weeks ago, I was gonna take my dog out to a walk at the dog park, and I saw a friend of mine. And I asked him how he's doing, and he told me that he was pissed off, and like this one of the neighbors in our neighborhood like threw up over the dog park. It was really disgusting, and I was just heated. Honestly, I was heated, like, but not like at him, but like concern for my friends' dogs too. So I was like, I had this kind of fiery energy. I went to go see my friends who are at the dog park and say, hey, you guys be careful around this area. This area just like because my friend Hamid said he's just saw his dog threw up around the area, just looking out for my friends and family. So for me, my communication is really honest and sincere. But I kind of felt bad that I didn't take my dog in to have fun because I always really wanted to be just a dog and just like for him not to do much, it really kind of made me sad. But at the same time, I need to let people know what's up and be careful out there. It's a certain kind of contagious stuff. That's my story.
I love it. Thank you, Jay. We're just going to
Yeah,
keep moving along, but that's so perfect. Like responding from that place of being fired up. Like, how do we navigate through that?
yeah.
You know?
That's just me. Yeah, I couldn't hold it in. Seriously, I just had to let my friends know and let people know. Just be careful around your dogs. Don't want them to get sick. I couldn't hold it. I was like, ooh, I gotta go talk to them. I was like Bruce Lee or something.
That's great. I love it. Thank you. So let's hear really quick, if we can, from others. Where's crucial conversation showing up for you? If you can unmute yourself. Oh, let me make sure I unmute Chelsea too, because who's next? Where do you need to have a crucial conversation? How's it showing up? Is it like family, friend, business? Um, or maybe are you avoiding it? Like, how do
Hi,
you handle it? Hello?
can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey.
Hi. Well, a crucial conversation for me at the moment, having a conversation with my landlord and knowing my own style of communication and having to be like what the line would be like in stating my truth and having something resolved and, being under somebody's authority and how to be savvy with it because it's something that I feel like when I get heated, I tend to just be straightforward and I'm not graceful. I just get to the point. But having balance, maybe deep breaths could help. It's something that's been sitting, so I need to have a crucial conversation about something, and that's kind of a situation I'm in, or that's a crucial conversation that I need to have. But it's just kind of she's been out of town, and it's kind of it's like harboring a little bit. Like, how am I going to do this? Am I just going to avoid it and just repress it? So crucial conversations can be crucially uncomfortable.
I feel your pain. Oh, I love this, Karen. This is a hot one. So, yeah, this is another area we have to develop ourselves. Like, how can you like talk to people, especially if they're like an authority figure, kind of with like
Yeah.
and like be direct, but not create a situation where people get defensive, right? Because I feel like it's just so easy. Like the minute that we come with that energy, then yeah. So I love that. Thank you, Karen. That's
Mhm.
perfect. Who else? Really quick, we're running through the list. Hi, Maggie.
Hi, Alicia.
Hey.
Okay, I feel like with me, it's more so like my dating life. So I always have a hard time confronting and having open communication with things. Just recently, somebody that I was talking to just ghosted me. So he hasn't been replying to my text or anything like that. So I'm in a limbo trying to figure out, should I just let it be or do I actually confront him and have open communication as far as why he went MIA and hasn't been replying?
Oh, this is such a good one. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Super
Usually
juicy.
I brush it off and I just let it go, but then it builds up in me. I get really angry because I want to know the answers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Like, it's like, and this is something that we can dive into later, but yeah, it's like when people go towards silence, like what do you do? How can you like draw it out without being too forceful or like creating more? Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, Maggie. Okay, who else? We have Ray and we have Chelsea. Do either of you have a I know Ray's working, so I don't know if he can speak it, but um, do you? Hey,
You hear me?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, mine is with, like if someone comes up to me negative, just mad and angry, and I have a hard time, like, responding to that. So what I do is kind of just be this positive guy and, like, use my energy to, like, play with them a little bit, like, with, like if I see them on a daily basis, really, like letting them in my bubble, talking to them, or not acknowledge them into my bubble. Like, does that make sense? But
Definitely.
at the same time, I'm like trying to work it with myself, like not get angry or be negative towards this guy or let him bring me down or play his game that he's trying to bring on to me.
I love
But I
that.
know,
Thank you.
yeah, I'm having a hard time with that, and it's a daily work process for sure.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I love it. It's like how to not take on other people's crap,
Yeah,
but show up for them when they're in that space. Like, and it's so easy to either like avoid it or just, overcompensate.
And I don't have the guts to like talk to them about it, I would rather play it off with the energy level so they can sit with it and be like, oh, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? Why is this happening? You know, I don't know if that's kind of a big way to do it, but I have a hard time like talking to people in general too. So maybe that's another thing
And that's
to work on.
this is that
With a
crucial
negative
conversation.
situation.
And this is that crucial conversation tip where it's like, yeah, how do you confront the BS and like say it and not create like more?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Because I don't want to be that person. You know? I don't want to.
But sometimes
I don't know. Is that like a bad thing to talk to them about?
Exactly. Yep, that hits the nail right on the head. Yep. So we're just kind of just sharing right now to add to this pool of meaning. Chelsea, are you there with us? I would love to hear how it's showing up for you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we are already at noon too. So I guess we've gone over today, everybody. My bad. I need to reel it in for us. I'm trying to, I want to keep this up to under an hour, but anyways, are you there, Chels? Let me see.
I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute myself. Talking to my screen. So love everything you're bringing up as always. Critical conversations, there's been many. The one that's most poignant for me, especially right now with where I'm at, is having critical conversations with builders and finally breaking through and sitting down and having that 3 pathways chat. That was incredibly illuminating for myself, as well as it relieves so much, I think, well, misunderstanding, you know, with where people are at and what is expected, and how we can collaborate and move forward with all of that information. It was just really, really awesome. And so that one is the one that I think that would be most appropriate to share. There's plenty more, but I know we're on a little restriction. So if you guys want to, I'd like to just take a quick little chat with the cards for today.
Perfect.
And usually I start with the first, but because of the 3 cards, I'll start with the last card that I draw. And actually, it's not a card that I draw. It's when I'm pulling cards from the top of the deck, I flip it over, and the very bottom card is the underlying meaning for the reading. And so that's typically the last thing I chat about. But today I want to talk about that first. And so this is the 8 of Wands. This card has come up before. And the picture depicts 8 wands hurling across the air, kind of like arrows towards a dartboard or to their target. And so this is calling us into this speed and of transition and action and movement. And with that, that is the biggest piece of this entire framework. So the first card is the Hermit, and this is a beautiful card reflecting exactly what we were talking about earlier with the Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde is a time where our communication, like you were just talking about, can be a little haywire, can be less effective than usual. And so it is asking us to maybe take a moment to pause, and instead of being so outward in our social lives or in these communications that we typically would be having on a regular basis, to have more quiet moments, to be alone, to introspect, to find that inner guidance. And the challenge that we're seeing is the 5 of Wands. So another another wands card. And this, again, is something we've seen before, and is depicting kids in child's play, in like a play fight. They all have, wands or toy sticks that they're using as swords. And so it's not, the brutal reality of an actual tense, sort of very serious, warlike disagreement or conflict, but it's asking us perhaps, where are we creating conflict, or especially within ourselves, what sort of conflict are we seeing come up from this really crazy time of transition. And so with the Hermit, it's asking us to take the time we need to really search through, just like you were saying before, with tricky conversations and times when we're triggered. I know from lots of experience that I cannot effectively communicate in that hot, heated, tempered space, that I completely and immediately go when I'm triggered. So I need to right away take that time to cool off, to perhaps take a walk by myself, or just bring myself in the other room for a few minutes, or just leave it completely and come back like a day or two later. And so that's kind of where the Hermit is telling us, to make sure that we can have that inner voice, that wisdom come through from our heart, instead of this really reactive, overreactive, fiery place come through with the trigger that we are perhaps experiencing through this crazy action that's happening very, very quickly around us. This transition period has been ongoing. And I keep thinking it's going to change, and Venus is in retrograde and bringing up a whole boatload of crazy relationship information. Sorry. And now, as soon as we finished that Venus retrograde, we're now in Mercury retrograde. And so again, that's asking us to just process a little bit more what exactly has been going on, despite the speed with which all of it's been happening. And so taking that time to set for yourself, to care for yourself, and to make sure that you're moving into whatever conflict or whatever challenging, critical conversation comes up with that beautiful inner voice of heartfelt purpose and understanding. So that's kind of my quick recap of our cards this week. So just make sure that you can embody that wonderful Hermit. Take some time to search yourself, your soul, and make sure that whatever conflicts, disagreements, adversity is coming up, that we allow ourselves that time, because it's so easy for the speed of these sort of fiery engagements to take us on a whole nother track than what is effective and most meaningful for us. So that's kind of all I've got, you guys. I hope that makes sense for you guys. I know that it fits in beautifully with what you've been chatting about, Alicia. And thank you again, guys, for that talk about your immune system. Go figure, just a Saturday night, I started to feel the gunk come on. My husband got sick about a week ago, and I've just been like, oh, I never get sick. As soon as I say that, I always, feel a little under the weather. And so it bit me pretty hard, but I love that you touched about every little aspect that goes into supporting your immune system. So powerful. I'm so thankful for these oils. I gave myself the aroma touch the night that I started feeling icky, and I've just been constantly dosing myself, and I already feel completely better today, but I'm just taking a rest day to make sure I don't accidentally contaminate anyone else if I'm still contagious. So rest, guys, rest is the name of my game. But that is that. Thank you guys for sticking around to allow me to share a little bit about what's been coming up over here. And it's always wonderful to connect with you guys for the beginning of the week. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Chelsea, for this potent card reading today, and just such a potent reminder too, like while we're in this Mercury retrograde cycle, to just like take that time for that introspection and to just quiet the mind. And I feel like it's so important, even just like the holiday, even if you're not following the astrology, but just like the holiday season, it just seems like the energies get kind of intense. So I think it's so important for us to just like return back to that place of inner peace, letting the conflict kind of fall away, giving ourselves that chance to look at it. So this card reading is super potent. Thank you so much. Such a good reminder. It's like, let ourselves return back to our heart, to the heart's intention, to the heart's purpose for showing up, and really let our action and our movement come from that heart space. Let all of our communications come from that heart-based intention. So I just sending you all lots of love, and thanks for showing up to, be a light in this world, and to shine your light and to be of service. And thanks for all that you do to touch people's lives as you move forward in your week from this really empowered state. Know that you're going to bring a lot of beauty in the days to follow. So we'll just plan to see you same time, same place next week. And have a beautiful full moon, retrograde, energetic reboot over these next few days. Bye, everybody. See you next time.